Surveillance footage captured the dramatic immigration arrest of a Venezuelan citizen inside a New Hampshire courthouse shortly after he arrived for his court hearing. According to Assosicted Press Arnuel S, Marquez Colmenarez had arrived in court in time for the hearing in February, but his surprise arrest inside the court building caused him to miss the proceedings. Surveillance footage shows two plainclothes federal agents trying to grab Colmenarez as he walked out of an elevator, sparking a foot chase that ended when they tackled him, with the one agent crashing into the feet of a man walking with a cane and knocking him violently to the ground. The other man appears to writhe on the concrete floor in apparent pain as the agents pinned Colmenarez to the ground. A Hudson police officer later rushes in and put his left knee on Colmenarez's back as a U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives agent handcuffed him. A spokesman for the New Hampshire Judicial Branch said court security officers were not involved in the arrest in any way. The incident is similar to a late March immigration arrest in Boston of a suspect who was on trial that resulted in a judge holding a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent in contempt of court. ICE agent Brian Sullivan detained Wilson Martell-Lebron as he was leaving court. A Boston Municipal Court judge later issued a ruling against Sullivan, arguing that he had deprived Martell-Lebron of his rights to due process and a fair trial by taking him into custody. A prosecutor in Boston harshly criticized ICE for the arrest. Suffolk County District Attorney Kevin Hayden rebuked the actions by ICE as trampling on our criminal legal system. The Justice Department filed a motion in federal court to dismiss the contempt charge. It argued that the state court lacked the authority to issue that patently unlawful and erroneous order. Still, Hayden rebuked the immigration agency. ICE routinely claims that their actions are improving public safety in Boston, Hayden said during a press conference at his office. And I'm here today to tell you, and to say, that they are doing the exact opposite. The Bulgarian Prime Minister attended a ceremony on Sunday in which a new military jet imported from the U.S. was unveiled to bring the country's air force up to NATO standards. According to Assosicted Press, the 16 new F-16 military jets were displayed in Graf Ignativo. This remarkable fighter jet stands as a symbol of the strategic partnership we share with the United States, a partnership that extends beyond defense into the field of energy, providing structural guarantees for our national security and enhancing the capabilities of our armed forces, said Rosen Zeliazkov. 8 of them were bought for $1.3 billion in July 2019. Plans initially called for the first planes to arrive in Bulgaria in 2023, but the coronavirus pandemic will delay their delivery until the end of this year. In 2022, the Bulgarian government signed another contract with American aerospace company Lockheed Martin for a second batch of 8 new F-16 fighter jets. Bulgaria, which joined NATO in 2004, has ever since sought to update its military's air fleet of aging Soviet-made MiG-29 jets, but financial problems forced repeated postponements. Amid Russia's ongoing war on Ukraine, Bulgaria has been relying on assistance from other NATO countries to fulfill its air policing obligations as an alliance member.
Перспективата пред България е перспектива като член на Европейския съюз, член на НАТО, с много ясна визия за неотклонение от демократичните ценности, за неотклонение от върховенството на закона и защитата на човешките права по начина, в който ние сме направили нашия цивилизационен избор преди десетилетия. Този прекрасен боен самолет е символ на стратегическото партньорство, което имаме с Съединените щати. Стратегическо партньорство, което не е само в сферата на отбраната, но в сферата на енергетиката, което създава структурни гаранции за нашата национална сигурност, създава гаранции за повишаване на капацитетът на нашите въоръжени сили.
Most of the military facilities belonging to the terrorist organization Hezbollah in southern Lebanon have been handed over to the army. The Times of Israel reported this, citing sources in the organization. 190 of Hezbollah's 265 military positions south of the Litani have been handed over to the Lebanese army, the source said. The publication writes that the ceasefire that ended the conflict between Hezbollah and Israel, which lasted more than a year, on November 27 last year, stipulated the deployment of only UN peacekeepers and the Lebanese army in the south of the country. The agreement required the Iranian-backed terrorist group to dismantle its remaining military infrastructure in the south and relocate its militants to the north of the Litani River, located about 30 kilometers from the Israeli border. Recall that on April 9, Reuters reported that Hezbollah's leadership would soon begin talks with Beirut on the organization's disarmament. On October 8, 2023, Hezbollah began launching near-daily rocket and drone attacks on northern Israel in support of the Hamas terror group, a day after its massive, deadly assault on southern Israel. The attacks forced the evacuation of 60,000 northern residents, killed dozens of people and caused significant damage. Israel hit back with airstrikes, and by September 2024, the conflict escalated into open war, during which Israel decimated Hezbollah's leadership and stockpiles. The war ended in a late November 2024 ceasefire, which has largely held despite mutual accusations of violations. Under the agreement, Israeli forces were to withdraw from southern Lebanon while Hezbollah was to remove its military infrastructure from the area. Troops remain in 5 points deemed strategic by the Israeli military. Israel also maintains the right to strike targets that pose an imminent threat. In recent days, some Hezbollah officials have signaled a willingness to discuss the group's arsenal with the country's government. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun, a US-backed former army chief whose election in January ended a 2-year impasse, has vowed to seek a state monopoly on arms.